Alrighty guys, Sunstrider here, and welcome to a little birthday thoughts on brutally honest review of the past couple of months, as the title says. And by that I mean, sure, I guess in the grand scheme of things, if we want to get all philosophical here, I don't have it as bad as a lot of other people do, but I mean, the past few months, especially, you know, December 2020, first couple of months of 2021, things have been a little bit rough around the edges, to say the least, right? And, you know, and I guess the main reasoning is just I haven't been feeling a whole too great overall. You know, like I said, in the grand scheme of things, I guess things aren't that bad and I shouldn't have that much to complain about. But, you know, the first couple months, 2020, especially, you know, especially in February and in December of 2020, things were definitely rough, right? And I mean, you know, considering I work in retail, the holiday season is normally always a pain in the ass anyway, but all of those frickin', you know, 2-week lockdown guidelines that were still in place at December, and everybody was just sick of it. I think it's safe to say that everybody was a little bit, you know, edgy and a little bit frustrated back then, and, you know, we still are now, right? Things have lessened up a little bit since the new year, but it's definitely still annoying, and, you know, people are fed up with dealing with all the guidelines and shit. But just other than that, outside of work, outside of this whole stupid COVID bullshit, because, you know, there's nothing really more to be said about it. We've all suffered from it. You know, we just gotta fucking, like, just get our heads out of our asses and just get through this shit and just fucking whatever, right? We all know. We've all been there. We've all been affected by it. No point blabbering on about it. But personally, myself, COVID aside, I guess I just haven't really been feeling that much of myself recently. And I think it all started in February when I broke one of my favorite Afterglow controllers. You know, with the see-through, clear, frickin' like outer part, shell part, casing part, so you can see like all the little internals, and then you have like all these LEDs inside. I smashed that while playing fucking COD bots of all things, so, you know, I was a little bit disappointed and mad at myself after that. And then I lashed out and had a temper tantrum on stream right in front of Sulfurious. That was also not very good, and I was also just like really shit. I mean, I was already feeling shitty because of smashing my controller, and now I lashed out at a friend and I almost lost a friend and all that stuff. So, you know, I definitely wasn't doing very well. And then the whole, like, you know, like 4-day shebang happened with my computer not recognizing where the OS was installed anymore because it was booting from the wrong drive, and I just didn't want to risk damaging anything else inside or outside of the computer or anything like that, so I just put it down for a couple days and then just uploaded and shit from my secondary computer, which I'm glad I didn't get rid of the pre-built system, so I could still upload and keep myself entertained on that one. I just couldn't stream that all that much. So, you know, just all of that combined with, like, endless fucking morning shifts, by the way. Like, you know, and the main reason why I hate morning shifts, it's not so much because, you know, I'm a slog getting out of bed, right? I'm not a morning person, in case you couldn't tell, but, you know, with my dad working from home and my sister doing university classes at home, I can't stream during the day because everybody else is in meetings all day, right? And it'd be a little bit inconsiderate to those people to just scream at my computer monitor for like a couple hours every day streaming. So I stream in the evenings, right as everybody's about to like go to bed and stuff, just to be courteous to the other people in the household, right? And I mean, I'm not mad at those other people in the household because I know rent in this city is fucking atrocious, and I'm very lucky to be allowed to stay in the house rent-free, occasionally helping with, you know, chores and groceries and shit, but overall rent-free in this city because of how freaking expensive it is to live here. So I'm very grateful, but you know, still living at home does come at a price where I have to, you know, follow house rules and not stream during the day while people are in meetings all day. That kind of thing, right? So it's a trade-off, but I live with that trade-off because, like I said, the alternative isn't that much better anyway. And I'd probably be in an apartment anyway with weak-ass thin walls and horrible sound installation, if any, so I'd probably have to be quiet then anyway, unless my neighbors get pissed off at me. So, yeah, I think either way, I'd still have to be quiet. But at least this way, I have to be quiet while also not having to pay rent. So, anyway, besides that, that's why I don't stream during the day, because everybody's awake and active during the day, and like I said, it'd be kind of disrespectful to just scream and shout in my computer monitor all day streaming. And that's the main reason why I hate opening shifts, because if I open one morning, then I can't stay up all night, because I need to get enough sleep just so I can actually be coherent enough to get through an entire, you know, 6.5 hour work day, which is kind of my average, the amount that I work. It may not seem that bad, like it may not seem as bad as a 9 to 5, but remember, I'm doing like a lot of physical shit and running around and trying to do 5 different things at once shit. With the retail job that I'm in. So, yeah. No, I guess it kind of makes up for it. You know, I'm not sitting at a desk job working 9 to 5 all day, but you know, I'm working 6.5 hours doing physical labor. So, pick your poison, I guess. And that's why I can't stream at night. And that's why I hate opening shifts so much. And I've been getting like 90% opening shifts for the past, like, since January. So I haven't been streaming that much. And then when the shit with my computer happened, I used those like 4 or 5-ish days to seriously get back into story writing. And as soon as I got back into story writing, and as soon as I started revising, I believe it was Undercom Story Part 11 to 24 or something, I remembered how much I missed doing this, and I went on like I've been on like a story writing binge for the past couple weeks, and I've just been embracing it, right? You know, maybe this is just the thing I need, a small, light break from Twitch where I'm not streaming as heavily as I did before the new year. Maybe that was the problem, right? So yeah, speaking of Undercom, I've also been thinking about doing like Undercom lore videos to kind of explain why the Undertale timeline didn't reset and why all the other alternate universes are being transported or teleported or showing up in the original timeline. You know, how the two universes are intermingling, how everything's going, maybe specific character profiles or something. Because Cypher, one of the other people in the roleplay server for Undercom, which the storyline is based off of, he does a lot of drawing, right? So, and I already asked him, and he said I could use some of the pictures of like Ionella and Kayla, and he said he might try drawing some other characters to try to, I guess, both work on his writing ability and I guess help with the lore videos whenever I do start them. If I do start them, to kind of maybe give like a visual and auditory explanation of just what the fuck's going on in Undercom. Right? Because, I mean, it's not like my Undercom stories are not getting any views. I'm actually getting a pretty decent amount of views, which I'm actually kind of confused, right? Because I post all my stories to DeviantArt, and it's like, you know, after a couple days of, say, an Undercom story being put up, some of the Undercom storylines already have, like, allegedly, like, 5K views or something. It's like, okay, that doesn't sound right, though, you know? I just came back from, like, a couple year-long hiatus. I was gonna say, like, 5-month hiatus, but no, it's like a 2-3 year-long hiatus from story writing. How the hell am I getting this many viewers straight out the gate again? You know? It doesn't make any sense. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just the amount of individual clicks on a certain story link. You know, like, I don't know, maybe like a lot of people, like, they read a couple chapters of a story, have to go off to do work or sleep or school, and then they come back, click on the story again, and that counts as an individual view, even though it's the same person viewing it twice or maybe even 3 times in a row or something. I don't know, maybe that has to do with a lot of the view accumulation. But still, either way, there's still at least a decent amount of people reading the stories. So the people who've been reading the stories, not like I can really keep track of that anyway, they would at least know what's kind of going on, but it may still get confusing at times because the Undercom storyline, each chapter is viewed from a different character's perspective. Right? And I do, like, make sure it's visible, right? Because it's like, you know, Chapter 1, Uniting the Front, Commander Riptide's point of view. You know, and then like, Chapter 1 is from Riptide's point of view, Chapter 2 is from Classic Sans, and then Fell Kara, and then Fell Sans, and then Story Shift Kara, and then Nightmare Sans, or something like that. I always say it underneath the chapter title, but still it might get confusing and things might get lost in between. Which is why I've maybe been thinking about getting into like some own lore videos for my own multiverse, alternate universe bullshit kind of thing that's going on here. And, you know, I've been sitting around and I've been thinking about it, and it's like, you know, Undercom is like, it's based around the multiverse and not just a single Undertale timeline. So I can't help but feel like I'm just like piggybacking off of everybody else's alternate universes and everybody else's work, which is kind of pretty much exactly what I'm doing. So, you know, sometimes I feel bad about it, and then other times it's like, well, I mean, people make AUs out of AUs all the time, so is it really that uncommon or something like that, right? I don't know. Alright, I'm sure some people would think of making something going so far as to make a whole story based off of other people's work with alternate universes may be a little bit, you know, cheesy kind of thing, like anybody could just steal somebody else's work, but I don't feel like I'm stealing other people's work, right? Because like the different timelines in Undercom do have their slight differences to their canon equivalents. Right, like for starters, the main difference is that each Frisk, Kara, and Azrael from each AU has a different age and gender based off of each AU. And like, for example, Classic Frisk and Classic Kara are still little kids, you know, around 10-ish years old. I actually don't know how old they are exactly. I might ask Mom Killer about that. Right? And they're both male. And then you look at Underfell Frisk and Underfell Kara, and Underfell Azrael, I guess. Both Underfell Frisk and Underfell Kara are female. Underfell Frisk, when she first showed up in the Undercom storyline, she was like 18, 19. by the time Underfell Sans proposed to her in the Undercom storyline, Underfell Frisk was 20. Right? And then Underfell Kara was 19 when she first showed up in the timeline. But by the time she met Regrettil Frisk and rebuilt Regrettil Frisk's body, realized she was transgender, they both still had unprotected sex anyway, because Underfell Kara didn't realize that she was packing in the first place, and then she realized she was pregnant. By the time that all happened, Underfell Kara was already 20. And all that stuff. And then Underfell Azrael is still a male and is just a lot older than Classic Azrael. Classic Azrael is the same age as Classic Frisk and Classic Kara, and Underfell Azrael is the same age as Classic Kara, or not Classic Fell Kara and Fall. Yeah, see, I'm confusing myself here, but you get the idea, right? They all have different ages and stuff between all the AUs and stuff, right? Horatel Frisk and Horatel Kara are a lot older than even Underfell Frisk and Underfell Kara, because Horatel takes place a lot longer after a lot of time has passed between Frisk falling into the underground and Azalea falling into the underground. Right, Azalea is the same age as Classic Frisk and Classic Kara, while Horatel Frisk and Horatel Kara are probably going to be in their early 30s. Right, and a lot older by the time they show up in the storyline, because I did revise how they showed up as well. All that fun stuff. Also, another thing about Underfell that's different from canon Underfell is that Underfell Kara never actually died. Underfell Kara or Underfell Azrael never actually died. And they were able to live and grow up with Toriel and Asgore. However, Asgore still declared war on humanity, and Toriel still ran away. And then Frisk fell in the underground, but when she fell in the underground, she was simply just older than when Classic Frisk fell into underground and Undertale. And all three, Fell Azrael, Fell Frisk, and Fell Kara were all able to just grow up together, but Fell Kara still followed Fell Frisk through the underground by her side the whole time, and still tried to entice her to do genocide and all that stuff until Frisk was able to convince everybody that, peaceful and shit, and yeah, and that's when all those characters were transported to the original timeline. It's pretty much what I'm trying to say is that I'm not fully copying, but I guess I'm still taking other people's work at the end of the day, but I'm having... when I put it like that, I sound like an asshole, but oh well, I guess. I already got this far, I'm not going to back down now, right? So I'm sorry if anybody is offended by me using other alternate universes and stuff. I'm just having fun with it. I mean, hell, I haven't caught up fully yet in the actual storyline, but let's just say Glitchtail is getting spliced up as well a little bit. Not nearly as much. Glitchtail doesn't get destroyed by Error Sands. It actually gets poked and prodded at by Nightmare Sands. Certain pieces of the Glitchtail puzzle are being taken out and then rebuilt to cover his tracks and all that stuff, so... yeah, that's why I want to make lore videos about it, because I'm just... I get distracted for 1 second and all of a sudden I'm 10-20 minutes into me explaining shit in Undercom, completely ruining whatever conversation or message I was trying to portray in the future. You see why I want to make lore videos? Get all this shit off my chest? But anyway, that's pretty much what I've been thinking about. Doing lore videos for Undercom, explaining why, how, and where's everything happening. Yeah, pretty much, long story short, I've been using story writing to kind of help me, vent off some stress, kind of forget about everything, calm down, take a deep breath, take a step back, take a break from Twitch. And I'm also off all this week because I always take the week of my birthday off for unpaid vacation. So, you know, the last thing I want to be worried about on my vacation is work, which is why I always take this week off. So I just don't have to worry about working near or around, on or around my birthday. And I could just kind of take a week for, you know, a mental breather, do shit that I want to do. So yeah, you know, I just try my best to just kind of readjust myself a little bit, take a step back for my own mental health and all that stuff. Like I said, I don't have it nearly as bad as other people do, and I guess at the end of the day I don't have that much to complain about. But still, mental health is important. Don't want to stress myself out or overextend myself on anything too much. And I'm sure this honeymoon phase with story writing will relax a little bit, and I'll probably calm down a little bit. Obviously, I'll keep story writing because now that I'm back in it, I want to stay in it for real this time. I don't want to let myself fall through again. You know, I don't want to have another writer's block moment or anything. But for now, I'm going strong. No signs of slowing down. Considering I've been talking about it so much, I might as well self-plug it if you guys want to take a peek at what the fuck I'm talking about. Link directly to my DeviantArt page will be in the description below if you guys care so much as to want to check it out yourself. Obviously, I'm proud of what I've done, although before the great undercom revision when I first started story writing, man, curse past Horny Jet, because I swear to God, things were definitely cringy back when I first wrote those parts. The biggest thing I wanted to change was the whole relationship between Felkara and Regret Frisk. Right, because let's just say past Horny Jet was really horny and really cringy when it comes to putting that shit into words. So yeah, I completely removed the sex scene between the two. I completely revised their dates. Made them sound hopefully a little bit more mature. Probably still a little cringy at times, but hey, what can you do? You know? Can't expect me to write good relationship stories if I've never been in one before, right? I'm gonna die! So, yeah, pretty much long story short, there's a method to my madness. There's a reason why I've revised all of them. And hopefully they sound better now. But before I turn into a broken record, that's gonna call it here for the day. Appreciate you guys all listening. And here's to another year, I suppose. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.